What's going on, everybody? It's David Piatek and the famous Dwayne. I got a video for that, Kimball. Uh,
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about VA home loans. We're going to talk about VA disability compensation. We're basically going to be talking about a lot of things because there is a lot of things that are happening within the veteran space, a lot of fear mongering. So we're going to
Uh,
break all that down. Please, if you have questions about VA home loans, VA disability, we're sharing this across multiple channels. So wherever you are in the country or even outside the country, ask questions because there's so much information that's out there for you guys, and we want to be able to provide that to you. So Dwayne, what is going on in the veteran disability space? I'm assuming everything is fine. Benefits are not going away. People are keeping their jobs. It's going to be a good day.
yeah, like you said, David, it's a lot of fear mongering. And, I've done a few videos and I thought about it today and I'm like, do I need to do any more? But, one of the videos that I was talking about the cuts. They're
Yep.
planning on cutting like 80,000 positions. And a lot of people think, the VA is huge. You got NCA, National Cemetery Administration, VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration, and then you have VBA, Veterans Benefit Administration. Then there's, departments underneath that. So that 80,000 is VA wide, which I think it's over like 400,000 employees or something like that within the VA.
Wow.
So from the benefit side, if they don't cut any positions like VSRs that do all the development that sends out the letters to the veterans, or RVSRs that do the rating decisions, and then the DROs that do the high-level review decisions. If they don't cut any of those, then we won't see any, wait times increase. But if they start cutting those positions, then wait times are going to go up, and we're going to go back to the Stone Age, 15 years ago. Wait times anywhere between 12, 18, 24 months.
Dwayne, they're gonna have AI doing all that stuff. That's what I heard.
You know, I got a video on that. They say
You
it.
on the AI? Then I would be thinking that. I mean, I'm thinking that it would be like, hey, it's gonna be done in 5 minutes now because AI pretty much knows everything that's out there.
Well, this is the thing. If they come up with a tool to read the information, which AI can do that now, that would actually be better because, we're human. We're going to, and I'm pretty sure there's probably a margin of error for AI as well. But when it comes to veterans submitting, let's say, private DBQs,
Right.
and it reads it and it says, okay, this veteran should be 70%. Whereas if a human reads it, now AI don't have those personal feelings. Oh, I don't think the vet should have 70%, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 50. You take that out of the equation and say, hey, if this is met per this particular 38 CFR and M21-1, so if the AI reads the regulation, reads the evidence and says, yes, the doctor said yes, and according to everything else, it says yes, will that make it faster? Yes. Will it increase the accuracy? Yes. Will it take out the personal feelings? Yes. But the VA is really slow. it's
Yeah.
really slow. So yeah.
Awesome. Good. Well, on the home loan side, there has been two major changes. One is happening as we speak, as we're live right now.
Uh-oh.
In about depending on what time zone you are in a couple of hours, the Native American direct loan programs 2.5% interest rate. That now, if you guys don't know what that is, it applies to a small portion of veterans, but it's still a benefit that they do not know what is happening with, and the VA is closed right now, and today's the last day for this program. It's
Oh.
the Native American direct loan program. They came out 2 years ago and said, hey, the interest rate on the mortgage that the VA offers for Native Americans buying on Native American land, like sovereign land, is going to expire. So I talked to them actually today. I reached out to them and they're like, yeah, we don't really know what's happening. So that's a huge piece of it. And just like any benefit, any small cuts to benefits is a big deal because they take one thing. Now all of a sudden they're like, well, they didn't even notice that. Let's take that. And the second big thing that happened, and I know, Dwayne, you and I talked about this recently, is that for a lot of veterans that get the 100% permanent and total disability rating, you enact the Chapter 35 that pays off your student loans. So actually, one of the viewers from the channel reached out the other day and sent me screenshots of like, hey, look, like they're not paying student loans off. And I'm like, I don't know about, I'm like, okay, let me check on this. So I checked on it. I emailed it to you and I'm like, hey, take a look at this. Like, is this legit? And yeah, so they've paused payments on the permanent and total, like that Chapter 35 disability rating. And so for veterans that are looking to become homeowners, they're 100% affected by this because it's kind of like this weird, quirky thing. The VA, like from a lending side, we look at the loan balance and we take 1% of the loan balance and divide it by 12. Well, some people have really high student loans, Dwayne. So, if you have $200,000 student loan, has a pretty big effect on you. And the way that you can go around it, in air quotes, is if your student loans don't go into repayment a minimum of 12 months out from closing. So people will do is they'll just like defer their student loans like 16 months or something like that, just so they don't have to count those loans against them. Well, in this instant, what makes it different is that they're normally deferred through September. So if you're trying to buy a home now, they're going to factor that into your qualification, especially if you're just trying to qualify with VA disability. So it's a pretty big deal for the veteran community that I didn't really see anybody do videos with. I don't know if you did one on it.
Yeah, we're editing it right now.
You're editing it right now. Yeah. So it's a big deal for the veteran community to really like focus in on that. And I'll be talking about that here in the video as well. So just a lot of things that are happening with that. So I will jump into some of the comments. I know, Dwayne, you put on here, are you ready? Of course we're ready to get this rolling.
But right quick, David,
yeah.
They put a pause on that because they say they're updating their system. But here's the thing.
Yep.
When I read more into it after we talked, it started like December 2024. And so the first I heard about it is when you and I talked. So in the video, I'm sharing that, I don't want to go too in depth, but I looked at it, but I was sharing some other information as well, because they talk about the type of loans that they discharge on the website, right. Social Security Administration, certain criteria for that if you apply, but they're telling people still submit your applications. But what I was seeing after you and I talked, people were saying, oh, it's just going away. They're getting rid of it. No, they're pausing it and they're telling people to still submit the application, So a little bit of, that fear mongering what we talked about.
I know. And it's crazy because they're like, oh, benefits are going away. And I know there's questions already in the comments about that. So we're going to break all that down because that's the whole point of doing these and doing them live. So you guys can get real-time questions answered. So we got a shout out from Grace from Portsmouth, Virginia. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Grace had a question. Would you say that our VA home loan benefits are safe for now? So that has actually been a big concern of a lot of veterans reaching out to us, scheduling appointments, asking, is the VA loan going away? Is there going to be a challenge with it? And the short answer to that is no. But let me give you guys kind of like the broader picture of what happens. So the VA itself, minus that natal program, which is very specific and a very finite number of veterans qualify for that, lenders are the ones that do mortgages, not the VA, right? The VA insures the loans. Now, the VA gives the power to the investors and originators to make decisions based on the VA handbook. Okay, so like that's the good part. And by the way, I talked to someone today. They're like, "Hey, I talked to this one company, and I thought that I'm required to use them because I'm a veteran, and this is veteran in their name." So just kind of be aware that that is not the case. You can work with anyone. You guys can reach out to me as well, and I can help you through that process. So, and another component with this as well, because it's all kind of interlocking, is that the VA actually generates revenue. So like when you're thinking about letting people go, the VA veteran, the regional loan centers actually generate revenue for the government because they charge the VA funding fee. So it's a fee the VA charges to use your benefits unless you have a service-connected disability. Now, I would say in the last 5 years, I could probably count on a handful of times I've had to reach out to the VA for something. They're very responsive. They're really quick to get back to you. Sometimes, we have to get like condo approvals done. So we have to submit tickets and we could do waivers. So that may get delayed if they remove people from that. But, again, since they are self-sustaining, I'm not sure if they're going to be going after that group. But at the same time, if they're trying to cut off that many jobs and maybe not cut off people in the medical field, then there's going to be some cuts just because they need to get rid of jobs and meet the criteria. So as far as the VA loan itself goes, the VA is still going to guarantee the loans. Lenders are still going to generate them, and they're still going to be sold on the secondary markets. I don't foresee any issues when it comes to the home loan itself or any of that piece. So that's a great question. Thank you for that. Ready for the nuggets? Oh, definitely. So I mean, we got a lot of them. So gold mine, yes, perfect. All right, so this is a good question. So hello, how does the VA home loan work for just land? I have browsed the Texas Veterans Land Board, but it seems they have specific land they cover. I'm not sure, but I want half to 1 acre of land. I would say go for more acreage if you can, but it's also a lot more maintenance to take care of. So a couple things with this. The VA loan itself is designed to purchase a property. Now, this falls also under using a construction loan. So you can get a VA loan, a construction loan, but it has to be for buying land and for building at the same exact time. If you go and get a regular like land, then you just get a land loan. And depending on the size of the loan is going to depend on the type of loan that you can get on there. Now, I'm going to speak from personal experience because we don't do land loans, but I just got approved for buying more land and I have a land loan right now. So from what I've seen, anything over 5 acres is considered an agricultural loan. It is very simple, and it's at a loan officer level approval, typically. Meaning the loan officer could just take your pay stubs, look at your assets, and go, oh, okay, yes, you can get the mortgage. Here you go. And it's really that simple. If you buy under 5 acres, now you have to go like a full underwriting process. And depending on what your intent of what the land is also how they're going to qualify you for that land and what tests you need to get with that land. Okay. I've made a video. I'm sad that Dwayne, and I'm also happy for him, has that tagline. I got a video for that. He said I could say I have a video for that too, but I mean it's just not as original, so I can't do it. But I do have a video on covering land as a savings account. Now that's a super smart move because, as you know, it's not like you can't build more land. Well, I mean, in Dubai they're building land, but in the United States here, you're not like they're not putting more land on the mountainside that's going to be flat. So if you're thinking about home ownership in the future, it's great to leverage a land loan now because land is not that expensive. You can put a down payment, and then over the next 10 to 20 years, you could pay that land down. Two things happen: you build equity, and you pay down your mortgage. And then you can actually use that land as the equity to do the build of the home, and you don't even have to use your VA home loan. That's, I'm always a huge fan of using the VA loan, but in certain cases, like for construction, I would say that if you can, actually, let me take a step back and explain what I'm saying. If, like for me, I want to build my own house. In order to do that, you need 25% equity. If I could just pay off my land, that equity will count towards me building my house, and then I don't have to hire a contractor and spend another 20% in cost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like you could, but then you're taking that project on. Like I'm going through renovation stuff right now, and it is horrible. I do not like it, but I'm gonna have to do it.
But Dave, go over. You said that it would be in the loan officer's hand if it was more than 5 acres or less than 5 acres?
Yeah, depending on the program, and this is very lender specific, I'm just sharing my experience.
Okay.
So I used an agricultural loan to buy 18 acres. And, when they first told me about it, I'm like, I'm not farming this land. They're like, no, it's just considered agricultural if it's 5 or more acres. And so the approval process is a lot easier for that process too. Yeah. And I've mentioned it before too, is that if you guys are interested, the USDA does offer a farm program. It's like up to 600,000, 40-year mortgage term, 2 years interest only. They look at your pro forma for what you're going to be cropping, and that money can be used for renovations of the house, equipment for the farm. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. Just look that up, USDA Direct Loan Program, if you're interested in learning about farming. And a lot of veterans always want to get off the grid. I don't blame you. I was looking at that for a while. You know what I'm saying, Dwayne? I mean, I want to get off the thing. So, all right. Well, investors are pricing us out of good lands near us. And also, is it worth buying now? So that's a great question. And it's kind of a tough one to answer. And what I'll tell you is this. It's up to each and every one of you to make the decision on, is it the right time for me to buy? Buying has a couple things that go with it. It's going to be, do I have the ability to buy right now? Right? Do you have the financial means to be able to do it? And then the other part's going to be your lifestyle, your family, how long you plan on staying somewhere. Just because you could buy something now, right? But you're only going to live there for 2 years, why would you do that? You might as well just rent, right? Otherwise, you're going to be upside down. Or if you're going to buy a place, but you know you're going to rent it and you can make money and you're going to come back to the area, or you want to hold it as an investment property, then it's worth it. I'll tell you that historically, values have gone up. So if you think it's expensive now, in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to be like, man, I wish I would have bought. Right, Dwayne? I mean, people that were in 2020, 2021, that were like, it's too competitive. People are bidding 50,000, 100,000 over asking price. Even if you did that, you would still have made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, because when people did that, it drove the price up, all the properties up. So if you 1 month paid 100,000 over, guess what? In 3 months, everyone's been paying 100, now 150, 200,000 over. That's how crazy it was, because they realized that with those rates being so low at that time, that they could take advantage of not paying much interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely for that. Oh, we have you asked like where are people out of? Maryland?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think we got people from across the country. We got Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah. I will add that we've had a lot of viewers on my channel from Puerto Rico. So thank you for your support. Now we don't lend in Puerto Rico. And I've seen a lot of people reach out. They're like, hey, can you look at my loan estimate or whatever? Which, by the way, guys, happy to do that. If you're in the process, I'll review it and make sure that like whatever you're trying to do is a good. And I'll explain it to you as well to tell you like, hey, is it good? Because VA loans are crazy expensive in Puerto Rico.
Really?
Yeah, man, because they have I mean, there's like a conspiracy theory, I think, because I feel like there's a monopoly there because they don't even respond to your emails or phone calls when you reach out to the banking division.
Oh,
I feel like everybody's out for lunch all the time.
At the beach.
Yeah, at the beach. OJ, oh shoot, in Florida.
Okay.
All right. Dwayne, this one's for you.
Yes. Yes. I don't know the diagnostic code, but it will fall under neurological.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So shout out, yo, from Be Humble.
Yeah.
I think he's been on our
I think
podcast
so.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. All right, we have a good morning all from Maryland. All right, we got a lot. We got Maryland winning right now. Someone made a. Do you know what this is? NAVC.
Naval. Yeah, I don't know, but it's good they're exempt though.
Yeah. Did they make a list of what are mission critical jobs?
No, I did a video on that for under the VA, and only thing I could think of back when I can't remember which presidency it was, but they had layoffs of furlough people, and at that particular time, under VBA, VSRs and RVSRs were considered mission critical. Decision review officers it was back then, I think it was still called appeals. They were furloughed for 2 weeks. And so we went to work every day not knowing if we were going to get paid because the government shut down, right? And they furloughed these individuals. Well, they brought the people back from appeals and then they back paid them. So they got like 2 weeks vacation. I'm sitting there stressing like, man, we're going to get paid or and so I'm like, and they were like, you can't call off sick. So we're like, what if you're in a car accident? Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do it the same way. Who's going to be mission critical? There's just a lot of unknowns because a lot of this stuff that is going on has never went on before, right? So
Right.
different people at the helm. So we, by day.
That's awesome. All right, this one's for you.
Okay, I'm looking at 2 different screens here. So just got upgraded from 90% to 100% total. Congrats. And want to tell you, thank
Awesome.
you for the valuable information. You and a few other really helped me greatly. Hey, that's what I tell people. The videos that we do, the videos that you and Lourdes,
Yeah.
let's forget her name, do. I mean, this is free information. Like we collaborate. I've seen somebody say, good to see us collaborate. And we're talking about home loans, VA compensation, getting free information. And I tell people, it's a deterrent from becoming my client because I'm putting out so much content, on other different platforms live every week where you can get your questions answered. You just got to invest the time to watch these videos, to tune in and go back and look at them. You know what I mean?
I do, because that's how I came across you. I just got to reach out on LinkedIn. I'm like, hey, Dwayne, I come across your stuff. Hey, can you help me? Also, do you think we want to collaborate? Because it's great it crosses paths, right? Like we're both Army vets and we want to help the veteran community as a whole. And yes, 2 different parts, but they work together because you need a place to either you own a house, you rent a house, you live on the street, or you live with your parents.
Right.
You got a couple options. Best one is having your own place. No one can tell you what to do. You live with your parents, you still have to answer to them no matter how old you are.
Right.
So you want that flexibility. So that's why it's such an important benefit. So we got some folks from North Carolina. That's awesome.
All right.
This one is for me. When the pandemic hit, I had to file for bankruptcy. The bankruptcy ended in May of 2025.
Okay.
How long do I have to wait to buy a property through the VA? So I'm assuming that this is a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, meaning that you're in a payment plan. If that's the case, 1 year into making your payments, as long as all your payments have been on time and you've reestablished you've established your credit, you're not late on anything, then you're good to go. Now, if it's been 4 or 5 years that you're in the Chapter 13 paying the money back, then as long as you have the discharge, you are good to use the V loan, but you also have to factor in that you've had to have made all your payments on time and your bankruptcy payments on time in order to qualify for a home loan. But if you would like, because a lot of times, we have general answers because the VA handbook is pretty vast, but it also depends on your personal financial situation. So I encourage you to schedule a call with me in the link in the description below. That way I can give you the full attention and kind of go through it individually. So
what about if they're in Chapter 13? If they're still in Chapter 13, do they have to get permission from the trustee?
They do. If they're not discharged, they have to do a minimum of a year of on-time payments.
Okay.
And then from the year on to discharge, they have to ask the trustee for permission. And then once they finish it, and then they're good to go. Now, the funny thing is, Dwayne, I've seen this go 2 ways. I've seen them take their sweet, sweet time to get permission. And when they get permission, like the numbers are really low.
Oh, okay.
But then recently, I've seen one where I almost passed out. I'm like, you want them to go back into foreclosure if they buy this with this, like what they approved was just like, they must have not known finance, like in any like sense of it. Okay. But like they approved this person for like a $6,000 mortgage and like they can only qualify for like a 3.
Oh, wow.
A month payment. Okay. So this is why I can't stress enough that you really need to know your financial picture and what you're comfortable paying on a monthly basis, because people will tell you like, yeah, Dwayne, listen, we can go spend $15,000 a month on a place. And then people will be like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Or that's an extreme example, but you really have to kind of figure out where the point is that you are not going to be house poor. If you buy a house, you have to still pay electric, gas, whatever you have. Plus, things go wrong, and you can't call a landlord no more. I can't be
Yeah.
like, Dwayne rented. I can be like, hey, Dwayne, I'm renting for you. The sink broke. Come and fix it now, and then you have to come and do it. You now have to call a plumber. They have to come out. You got to fix it, unless you're doing the work yourself. And
Mhm.
Dwayne and I, we're just talking about doing construction work around, or like renovations or work around the house. One, it's hard to get good people, and two, when you do, they're charging you an arm and a leg.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So get on YouTube, do some research, and figure out how to do a lot of stuff on your own.
Yep.
I can't stress that. I mean, some things maybe like electrical you don't want to mess with, but like definitely spend some time before you just start dishing out money, because you can dish out money really fast.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
Most
that's a good
definitely.
question. Thank you for that. I said Fort Worth, Texas, checking in. Thank you for all you do. 100% PNT 2 months ago. Congratulations.
All
Feels like a
right.
load off my shoulders. Definitely.
Oh
Never give up,
man.
ladies and gents.
Yep.
100%. At
Yep. There
least,
it is. Congrats.
at least, I know with like some of these VA changes, Dwayne, uh, we always encourage people, if it's never too late to file, but the longer you put it off, it doesn't seem like it gets better for veterans with VA disability as far as like how they're rating things. Well, with the VA loan, it seems to get better. So, but still, if you wait, the home values go up. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go through this.
Yeah.
This one I think is for you.
Is Trajectory Medical a good service to us to help get a higher rating? I've heard other veterans talk about this company. I don't know exactly what they do. Yeah, I don't go out and look at other companies and what they do. I'm just so busy these days, but I have heard of that company. But Tim, let us know, what are you trying to do? You trying to get a DBQ, or if they're a consulting company? And again, it's certain things that we do, how we educate veterans on the VA claims process. But I tell veterans, I'm like, hey, this is something that you can do yourself. David, I was looking at my analytics the other day, and I was like, I have over 600 videos.
Wow.
I was like, where did I find the time to record 600 videos over the past 5 years? And veterans will ask me a question, like I did a video about CUEs. And in that video, I said, there's no particular form that you need, that there is, that you have to complete for a CUE. But if I was doing a CUE, I would put it on a 526EZ. So guess what? One of the questions I got, which form can I use? You have to watch their entire videos. When I watch David's videos, is mainly when I'm coming back home from dropping my son off at school. I can, fit one video in, and I'm just like, I'm gonna ask him that on the next live stream. You have to watch the entire video. And our videos are relatively short. They're anywhere between 8 minutes to 12 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. They're not long. And also, Dwayne, something that I want to point out is that these videos are not just for you. Don't be selfish. This is about the whole veteran community, because
Yeah.
people ask questions, and then it's like playing telephone. One person says one thing and the other one's like, oh no, they say the exact opposite. So be very careful and always relate back to the videos. Watch the whole thing, because then you're going to get all the information before you jump to a conclusion, and we can better help the veteran community. And with that too, please make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys please drop a comment so we can get this out to the YouTube universe, because there are about 20 million veterans that are out there, and we do not have 20 million people on the call right now. Just want to let you know that.
We got 138 watching, and I know you ain't how many we have in here.
You got 147.
Okay, so it says 130. So we should have I don't see. I have to refresh my screen for the likes on my
end. Yeah. So make sure you guys hit that. We got Jeff over from South Carolina, New York.
New York.
Welcome, Alabama, South Carolina, New York. You think you dropped the comment stuff.
Mhm.
We got a comment. Love the show. I submitted a DBQ for urinary frequency, and they scheduled 3 ACE exams. I don't even know what the ACE exams are. First to see.
I got a video on it.
Do you see?
I
That's
have,
what I'm
and
talking about.
I'm about to do another video. And I, as a rater, I don't want to say hate because that's like just you giving dominion over your feelings,
Yeah.
but I highly dislike ACE exams. And what it is, acceptable clinical examinations. They don't have to call you and ask you any questions. They
What?
just go over the information that's in your folder. So for urinary frequency, one of the questions is, how often do you void during the day? How often do you void at night? You may not have that in any medical evidence. So the examiner at least should pick up the phone and call and ask that question, because
Ah.
that could be the difference between 0% and a 40%. And if you're
Wow.
at 92, 93%, that could be the difference of your overall rating between 90 and 100% in everything that we're talking about. The, no tax exemption, all this other stuff.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I don't like about ACE exams. But if you go to my channel, and that's what I tell people, go to my channel, click on it. When you see my banner, and then just type in ACE, that video will come up. I'm going to do an updated one, but I don't think the regs have changed. But what people don't realize, and this is another reason to get educated, because we had a client where the third party examiner says, I'm going to do an ACE for this mental exam. Guess what? ACE exams are prohibited for mental conditions, and they denied the claim. So she
That's
had a
crazy.
CUE high level review wrapped up in one. So when she went to the high level review, you got to argue fact of law. So when you look at the M21-1 reference, mental exams are prohibited from ACE exams. But now that claim has been prolonged 6 or 7 months because all this back and forth. It's crazy.
That's where AI would have maybe solved that problem. So we're
Yep.
coming back full circle. That's
Yep.
awesome. Someone said, glad to see this collaboration. Thank you for watching.
Yep. Corey, Mr. Johnson.
Yep. Let's support the channels. Yeah, please make sure you guys subscribe to both of our channels so you can get the most information you can. Oh, this is a good one. This one's good for you. Do you guys give advice on upgrade discharge?
Got a
Oh,
video on it. Got a
got
video on it. And this is key, because if you're trying to get compensation, you need to know what type of discharge you have, and if that discharge requires VBA to do what is called a COD, character of discharge, and that determination will say, okay, you're barred from compensation, you're barred from VA healthcare, or you're barred from compensation, but you can get VA healthcare. Now, if you have a dishonorable, it's like you never served. Okay. But in that video, you can actually go to the VA's website, and I'm showing you in that video, you answer some questions, and I think it'll populate a form and fill it out, and it'll say, this is where you have to send it, and it has to go to your particular branch.
Awesome. This one is for you.
From Schofield Barracks. Have you heard anything about the sleep apnea definitely changing in April? I heard they might possibly be shifting to August. I heard that too. I haven't done a video on it because I haven't seen that documentation. So saying that it's going to be prolonged, but with everything else going on, I think they're not even thinking about that right now. I could be wrong. But one thing that I told people back in December, do that intent to file. You may have to move that timeline up. Start seeing your mental health examiner every Wednesday, every week, or every other week. Build that paper trail and get that claim in, because let's just say they do push it to August and they do implement those changes in August. They could come back and say claims received after April 1st, 2025 fall under the new criteria. I've seen that. So they backdated it.
Wow.
So what I was telling people in December, hey, you might want to push your timeline up to get that claim in. do your due diligence, start getting that treatment now, building that paper trail, get your claim on the books, because people ask me like, well, when are they going to make it effective? I don't know. They haven't told us. We won't know until they tell us.
All right. Do you do loans for remanufactured homes? You can do a VA loan on a manufactured home, but I'm not really sure what the remanufactured home is. So if you want to drop some clarity in that, please do, or schedule a call with me, and I'm happy to go over that with you. Thank you so much for the info. I want to build, but not right away. I already have a home, but want to sell. So that's why land deals are great. And I know you mentioned a little bit earlier that buying land may be expensive because people are coming in and buying it up fast. But that's another reason to just, if you want to live in that area, it's not like it's going to get cheaper. So you might as well buy and hold. And everyone's financial picture is different, and you kind of have to figure out what it is that you want. If you really want to live in that area, buying the land, even it may seem like it's going up, that means that it's trajectory to go up even higher. So that is just another point to keep in mind on that. What if if your land is already paid off, you can get a VA construction loan on that property. So that is a great option. And you can actually leverage the equity of your land against a loan. So you may not need to use a VA loan for that. VA loans are phenomenal. I'm 100% supporter of them. From a renovation loan, new construction loan, or investment purposes, you might look at different loan products. So you can kind of compare which one's the best for what you're looking for and which one has the flexibility you want and what your long-term goals are, because you can always kind of shift things around. Grace says, wow. Oh, this is a good one. What if you're TDIU? Can you get a V loan if you don't work? So I did do a video on that as well. I'm going to say that. So you can use TDIU as income to qualify for a home loan, even if that's your sole income. And there's states that allow you to be 100% TDIU and receive the tax break for not paying property taxes. But please do yourself a huge favor, is go ahead and research the county and the state. I did a video on that as well, just breaking down how VA disability works and how to search for it for yourself. So I'm ready. I already have a current VA loan. I'm looking to retire in 6 years. Could I get a second VA loan for land? So you can have unlimited VA loans, okay? You can have 5 VA loans if you want. The most VA loans I know of, somebody is having 4 of them, okay? But what you have to be careful of is at some point you exhaust your entitlement. That means you have to put a big down payment. So if you're retiring in 6 years, it's tough because I'll give you an example. If I'm in Chicago and I work here and I live here, right? And I go to an office here and I'm trying to buy a place in Tampa because it's sunny, it's bright, it brings joy, and there's fishing. I can't do it because it would be considered a second home and I can't use my VA loan. But if I was active duty, right? So the same scenario. I'm active duty. I'm stationed in Chicago. I have a spouse, and my spouse is going to go to Florida, and so then I could buy a home in Florida and use another VA loan as long as I have enough entitlement, or if I don't have enough entitlement, I have enough for a down payment. Then I can actually buy the home in Florida, and my spouse would meet the occupancy requirement. That's only for active duty personnel. Or the third option is if I live in Chicago, but I work 100% remote, I can live anywhere that I want in the country. So those are things that you need to keep in mind. Can you build a home on agricultural land? Yes. When I mentioned earlier is like I bought land with an agricultural loan. I got 100% build on it because I had like the testing done, all that stuff. So what will happen is you will refinance out of that loan into a construction loan. So that's going to be, so that won't be an issue with that. Delaware in the house. Great. Good tax shelter place. Yeah. I think somebody asked part 4. Can I get in contact with you to share information on everything gained from high level review? Dwayne, that's for you.
Yeah. Send me an email at info@kmd89.com, Kilo Mike Delta 89.com. Send it as a screenshot Don't send it as a PDF file because we won't open it just because we get so much information and we don't know if if it's a virus. But just take a screenshot. Don't put your social security number in there. Redact any personal information, and I could take a look at it.
All right. Yeah, I know he had like a little bit longer message of a couple parts.
Okay, congrats. Just received P&T after HLR last week. I was granted sleep apnea using weight gain as an intermediate step. The key that got me over the hump was the DRO saw that I had put the court case on the back of my 4138 statement in support of a claim. And then I told him I had submitted an actionable and sufficient DBQ. There we go. Per 38 CFR 3.326 subpart B. All right.
Yeah.
Part 4 wanted to get in contact with you because it's too much detail and type. I did. Okay. Just hit me up. info@kmd89.com, and maybe we can do a quick Zoom real quick and go over it. And you will put that court case in the comment section. I know I could probably Google it and find it, but if you have it, Logic, put it in the comment section. Thank you. And congratulations too.
Hey, congrats on that. This one is for you.
For those of us doing BDD, should we submit personal and/or buddy statements for every item we are claiming, even if we have been seen recently for what we are claiming? Okay, so I have a video where it's called personal statements. Look at that video. For example, I am claiming migraines as direct service connection. I was seen on this date, this date, this date, this date. Please see attached service treatment records from active duty, which show I have a diagnosis of migraines. Also, I have very completely prostrating attack, severe economic inadaptability. So every personal statement should have verbatim criteria for the diagnostic code percentage you feel you qualify for. So I just gave you the 50% criteria for migraines. You're still on active duty, go to sick call, Oh, my toenail hurt, go to sick call. Oh, I dropped my glasses and it kind of bruised the side of my face, go to sick call, get it documented, because once you leave active duty, that is it. You start filing claims, guess what they're going to do? Go back and look at those service treatment records from active duty.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And this next one is for
I
you.
filed obstructive sleep apnea with obesity as an, coming up late on my screen here, intermediate step due to major depressive disorder. It was denied. And in the favorable findings, they mentioned that specifically, should I appeal? Okay. People, the favorable findings decision, the favorable findings in your rating decisions. Take a piece of, take some scissors, cut it, and burn it.
Why?
I have a video explaining favorable findings. In the favorable findings, the only thing they said was you got a diagnosis. But now they gave you a diagnosis. So how do you use that in your favor? If you do a HLR, what is the argument? It has to be based off fact or law. If everything was done right and the only thing that was negative was the negative opinion, you're not going to win that. The way you win it, I can't remember, Logic. Get with Logic. Hey, Logic, can you get with A Vet's Life and explain he had an actionable and sufficient DBQ. Went to a high level review, argued fact and law. The court, the medical study that he talked about is fact. The actionable and sufficient DBQ is fact. Per 38 CFR 3.326 subpart B. That's how you win that high level review.
That's awesome. All right, Minnesota. Hi, welcome. Hello from Miami, Florida. Another warm state. Not happy 305. To hear that. I know. Miami-Dade.
Okay, med board. Continue to go to sick call. Go to sick call.
Facts. I like that.
Every day,
Next
all day.
one is can you use PCAFC qualifying as income on a VA loan. So I did have to research what that was. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, all right, they're getting me here. So it's a program for comprehensive assistance for family caregivers. That's what it is, offering enhanced clinical support. No, you can't use that.
Okay.
That is a good one because we do get that where a veteran has like the disability and then their spouse is like their caregiver, they're not able to use that income.
Yeah. If I was denied for sleep apnea secondary to asthma, but the rater made a rework clarification addendum, I never heard of that. I heard of an addendum, but not a rework clarification.
I've never
That
heard that
my
either.
STRs were silent. Yeah, that's yeah. Gotta be OJ, you gotta be a little bit more specific.
Yep. This one's for you.
When submitting an FDC, does the VA have a specific timeline for completing the claim? I've heard, okay, there we go. What I heard. So check it out. Fully developed claim, and I have videos on this. The difference between an FDC claim and a standard claim. The FDC claim, you're only telling the VA, I have nothing else to submit. That is it. It used to be a priority, but it no longer is. I have the video sharing the M21-1 showing that FDC claims are no longer a priority. Okay, so they could take 2 weeks, 2 months, 12 months. Okay, there's no time frame.
Well, look at this. I'm interested too.
Cola increase in April. Please share that link because I got to do a video on that. So people, when we say, I heard, they said, I need to see a link. Like Dave and I were talking, what was that, yesterday or day before?
Yep.
And you said, I'm going to send you the link. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went out there and I did the research and then I did a video on it. We need to see the link. I know it's good to get on Reddit and these other social media platforms. That's why in some of my videos, I do slide 1, slide 2. I'm taking you to the VA's website. It's not me saying it. It's the VA saying it. And that's what we have to follow.
You think you still get paid if you move out of the country, right?
Yeah.
You still get paid to American bank accounts. So yeah, you still get that.
The rater says my sleep apnea is most likely attributed to his mental health condition of stress and notice. Okay. I have a video where I'm talking, I'm going to do an updated one. Who actually denied you? If you had a CMP exam, 9 times out of 10, the doctor provided a negative opinion. The rater is just a bearer of bad news. So when you read that rating decision, it should say something as your CMP examiner medically opined that it is less likely than not. If you see that verbiage, the rater didn't deny you. The rater just gave you the bad news. It was the examiner. So stop going to these CMP exams, falling for the okie doke. Oh, thank you for your service. Oh, you're from Minnesota. My son went to the University of Minnesota. Nope. Nope. Stay on task.
This one is for you.
Been 100% PNT. I'm not even thinking about filing another claim. If you do, I have a video on it. Poking the bear. Relocating from Texas to Maryland. I do work, but with the chance, those starts messing with our benefits. You know, I was doing a live last Wednesday day, and for some reason, StreamYard kicked me off, and then I came back.
I saw
on.
that.
Yeah, and somebody said those kicked them off.
Those kicked you out. That's so funny. Well, that's a good question. And a lot of people are really concerned about it. And like, you know, we can't, I mean, I'll be honest, like we can't be like, oh, we're going to tell you 100% nothing's going to happen because they may change laws. They may do something. And the reality is too, I don't know if you guys ever checked this out, but the VA holds statistical data on veterans and like when they're going to be passing away. Like, so next, I think 20 years, we're going to reduce the number of veterans by half. So it's going to go from like 20 million to 10 million. And then it trickles down from there. So just, you know, we have power in numbers. So just kind of keep that in mind, like when we go through this process. This one's for you.
I got denied for TBI. A CUE where favorable findings said they saw an event that could have caused the incident, but due to not having a current diagnosis, I was denied my VSO put in for. That's kind of hard to say. All that evidence is going to have to be reviewed. And I think I probably need to do an updated video on that because the other video I did, like who denied you, was a couple of years ago. We have to understand how to read these rating decisions. And just saying the VSO is going to do a high-level review, now you're stuck 12 or 14 months because actually you can select the informal conference, watch my video on how to schedule your informal conference. You could do it tonight and schedule an informal conference for tomorrow. Just had a veteran do that last week. We were talking Wednesday, and I was like, look, don't schedule it Thursday. Schedule it Friday, first thing Friday morning. Give yourself time to look over your claim. These are the questions that you need to ask. And he was like, yeah, I got it scheduled. And the guy, what they did, David, he told me, he said, they texted him and said, we just tried to call you and we didn't get an answer. And he texted him back. He said, BS, I'm sitting by the phone. Call me now. And he called back and he got him. They do tricks like that. I tell people that. And then they put on an 0820 and say, hey, I tried to give the call, to call a veteran and they didn't pick up. And just so happens he saw that text. But they're trying to cover their butts. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's wild. But that's why you have to be on top of it. Use a calendar. All right, now we're going to go into like a power 10 minutes of just going down and answering questions and our 2 cents. Trajectory charges 5 times more than I guess the average. That is pretty expensive, but I don't know how fast they turn it around, and it really depends on what you're trying to do. All right, Dwayne, this is you.
Nope, they do not.
All right, perfect. Hello from Maryland. The girl, thank you for the comment. Thank you for share the video. Houston.
Ace time.
Oh yeah. Nice and warm. You guys chilly. Hey, I'm not too far. I'm by Great Lakes Naval Base, so not too far from you.
See my 100%. Congrats. Foul for MST. I was stationed at Fort Hood back in the day, retired. Yep, I was there as well. 182 FA, 1st Cavalry Division.
That's you.
I was disproved for sleep apnea twice until I linked it as secondary. There you go. That's the route.
Awesome. Honorably discharged with 18 months active duty, but with a RE4. What is that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Anyway, if you got medically discharged, because you need 24 months on active duty, if you got medically discharged, yes, you do. But just schedule a call with me, and I could pull your certificate of eligibility, and I'll help you to the max to figure out like if we can do it or not. Contact the VA. I can get all your documents together, no problem, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Type 2 diabetes, that's a 1-year presumptive under 38 CFR 3.309, and Agent Orange presumptive under 38 CFR 3.309 subpart E, tropical diseases. Yep.
Wow.
Congrats. In the rating decision, and I got a video on this. In the rating decision, it should say, if it says chapter 35, you're PNT.
Yep. Perfect. And it says that on your letter too. When you generate your VA disability letter, it'll say permanent total, and it'll say yes or it'll say no. But that's a good question. Different benefits.
I have current claims in that went from step 7 to step 4, then back. Okay, so I got a video on this. You're in step 6. You start submitting evidence. You will go back to step 3. Multiple claims on January 6th. FDC moved to step 4 and hasn't moved since. Every claim is different.
So this one's for you, just saying hi. Drop them nuggets.
Yeah, dropping them. 15 years ago, after knee surgery, I've been denied. I have high blood pressure, cholesterol. Cholesterol, just did a video on that. What conditions that the VA will not service connect you for. Cholesterol is a lab finding. You will not get diagnosed. I think this, Miss Lara, Miss Lara is a VSR. He's left some things, some comments on my channel. Thanks for the support, Sherman. I think you are a VSR. No, I would never go back into the office. I would get a reasonable accommodation, and I would get a letter stating that I cannot work overtime. My last 2 years as RVSR. I work from home full time. I got more work done. I didn't take my 15-minute breaks, and I worked through lunch. I talk about this in my videos. You go back in the office, you got people that you hadn't seen in 2 or 3 years. You chit-chat and all these distractions. Nope, they would never get me back in the office. VA employees, get your reasonable accommodation. Continue to see your doctor every 2 months. Get that reasonable accommodation updated every 6 months. And also, here's a nugget. Get FMLA for that condition you have that reasonable accommodation for, because executive order does not trump, no pun intended, an executive order, or the executive order does not trump the Disabilities Act, which is law.
Gotcha. This is so 2 parts. CMP examiner said no PTSD. This is what he said.
Is there a good reason that the rater would consider a VA psychologist? Nope. Look at the top of the DBQ, people. It tells you who can complete a DBQ. I have a video on that. Okay. Who can complete a mental health DBQ is at the top of the DBQ.
You?
Tony from Northern Kentucky. You ever heard of Paducah, Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky.
I got an increase on my mental health from 50 to 70. Effective date was February 6th. The payment start date is March 1st. Is that right? Yes, we are paid in arrears. So when you get paid on March 1st, that means that payment is for the month of February.
Hey, can you get a V loan if you just got out of basic and tech school 5 months ago? So if you're on active duty and you've served and you're currently more than 6 months on active duty, you could already use your VA home loan. And again, I can help you get the certificate of eligibility. Just schedule a call with me.
Yep. Look at my video of VA claim matrix, and I talk about the different. I think it's 50%. Everything is paid for, even if for non-service connected conditions. But look at the VA has on their website VA matrix. But I did a video on it, so just go to my channel, type in matrix, and it'll come up.
That's you.
I'm starting my first claim to update my initial disability rating. I've been watching your videos, and I'm stuck on where to find a DBQ and Nexus letter take to my doc. Okay, VA's website. I'll put it in the comment section right now. The link to the VA's DBQs.
No benefits yet. They're learning a lot, but that's all you got to do. It. I'm telling you, don't wait on the sidelines. File at least your intent to file.
Yeah,
you got to get through that at least.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Thanks, Dwayne. I submitted an intent to file last December. I've finally been contacted for a partial exam and 2 additional exams next week. MST, sleep apnea. Okay, just know what that criteria is. Okay, and how you claiming it.
One thing I'll add to this about private doctors and these DBQs, if this is an expensive option, okay, but I'm going to let you guys know what it is, because a lot of people don't realize that you can get a concierge, a medicine concierge. So you pay money for this doctor. Your insurance can still cover it, but you have an annual premium. They will do what you ask them to do. I'm just letting you guys know. But sometimes it takes money to make money. Just throwing it out there.
Yep. Okay. Congrats.
Congratulations.
8% rating, 12,000 off of my property tax.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome. Yeah. Mobile home, you can use a VA loan on there, but you can't have wheels. It has to be a fix and be considered real property.
Man, a lot of people are saying they're getting 100% lately. 100% lately. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Well, I guess it depends, right? When your condition is filed.
File toxic exposure. Yes. Well, toxic exposure wouldn't be under the PACT Act. It would be under TERA. TERA. Don't worry about it. Go to my channel, type in TERA. I got a video on it. 18. Okay. All right. Elizabeth Walsh. Okay. Gotcha. OICUE claim. Can you look at? Yeah, that's the one that he was saying the sleep apnea is secondary to the mental condition. Email me that too, Logic, if you will, at info@kmd89.com. We'll take another look at it. I watched CUE claim. Can you look at my situation for a few and let me know? Yeah, John Hughes, I would love to. I no longer review documents, because when you're dealing with CUEs, you need to be looking at everything from that initial claim up until now, because guess what? CUEs do not expire. So if you say, hey, I did something back in 2015, the VA didn't do something right, all that evidence from 2015 till now will have to be reviewed to see if it rises to the level of a CUE.
And this one for me with him, I got pre-approved with Veterans United, but they're saying 7.125% interest rate. Is that accurate? I will tell you this. I would recommend you that you schedule an appointment with me, and we can go through it, because different lending institutions charge you different rates, different fees. And I can't stress enough that if you reach out to a company because they've been marketing to you and they market to you like crazy, you are paying for that marketing at the end of the day in the form of origination fees and discount points. And it really depends on your financial picture overall. But I have a feeling that we'll be able to save you some money on that.
Yeah. It's hard to say, Dito girl. Normally you have a 1-year window to
She's
come back
great.
in with that supplemental claim to get that back pay.
This one's for me. I just received 100% P&T. Congrats. My credit slipped in the process of waiting to get it. Any advice on getting a VA loan with rough credit? So the VA does have loose requirements for using the VA loan. Now, typically, they're going to look at the last 12 months and make sure that you've had on-time payments. The best thing to do is schedule a call, because that's like an individual thing, right? Because I can't answer that in a broad stroke. In the sense that, yes, like UV allows for looser credit requirements, but that's why we have to look at the credit and see exactly where you're at. And I think, Dwayne, that wraps it up for today. We're just over an hour, and I got to get the kids ready for bed. It's the thing with being a dad. So,
know how it is.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you got a lot of good nuggets. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe button. Ask any questions. Just because the video's over doesn't mean we don't know how to use computers. Like, we'll still respond to the messages. So drop comments, search the channel, search for whatever you're looking for. Everything's in that search feature. So, Dwayne, anything else to add?
No, that's it. Until next time.
Yep. I'll see you guys later. Everyone have a good night.